What's going on, everybody? Josh Engleman for Awesemo.com, and I am back with a special Tuesday night football edition of my FanDuel Single-Game breakdown for the Cowboys and the Ravens. Now be sure to hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, and hit the notification bell so you know when this and all of our other content goes live. Follow me on Twitter at Josh Engleman so you can get updates to these sim results as we get closer to lock. And finally, let me know in the comments section, who are your favorite options at MVP and at Flex for tonight's slate? Some of the high-level stuff. Average fantasy points in the optimal winning lineup, 98.4. Median salary used, $59,000. 2.3 Cowboys, 2.7 Ravens in the optimal lineup. Ravens 7.5 point favorites with a 45.5 point game total. I don't know about you, but I'm excited to dive into this. Here is who I like at MVP. This one's pretty aggressive, everybody. We need to start at the top, and the top is greater than 50%. Lamar Jackson at 16,500 is the clear, far and away best MVP, and it's not particularly close. Lamar Jackson finishes in the optimal spot 55% of the time. He's the center of everything in this game. When you're going up against another quarterback in Andy Dalton, it's not going to be as problematic. I have Lamar Jackson projected for more than 7 fantasy points than Andy Dalton. You just have to go to Jackson. He is the clear most likely top scorer in this game, 55%. Now, that does open up 45% of scenarios where Lamar Jackson is not the MVP. I think Andy Dalton is probably your second best bet at 14K. Shows up in the optimal about 11% of the time. Zeke at 15K shows up about 9% of the time. After that, we're talking about pretty small shots. So CeeDee Lamb around 4%, Marquise Brown around 5%, maybe Justin Tucker at 4% if some of these drives stall out. But it would be impossible to mention anything other than Lamar Jackson, more than 50% of the time, will be the optimal MVP. Now, as we go to the flex side, things are a little bit different. I think Andy Dalton is your best flex option. He's 14K, so you're saving that $2,500 off of Lamar Jackson. And Dalton in the flex shows up 44% of the time. Justin Tucker, actually, at 9K, is my second favorite flex option. Shows up in the optimal 36% of the time. There's only one other guy at 30%, and that is Marquise Brown, 30% on the dot. Then we fall into this high 20s range. So that's when we get to Lamar Jackson, 29.8% chance of being in the optimal flex spot. He's going to be significantly more owned than that in the flex. I would rather just be lighter and get more shares of him at MVP. It's really hard to thread the needle with Lamar at flex. You can go to Zeke for $1,500 cheaper. Same odds, 29.8%. You can go to J.K. Dobbins at 12K, another 29% guy. Those are like the top-ish options. If you're working your way down, I think Greg Zuerlein at 8,500 is viable at 26%. The floor for me is Devin Duvernay, 7K, projected for about 6 fantasy points, shows up in the optimal 18.8% of the time. This is really difficult as we work our way down. Pretty much everybody from Michael Gallup in salary, so 8,500, to Devin Duvernay at 7K, is essentially the same. Tony Pollard looks a little light at 7,500, but ultimately that entire range is all about 15 to 20% odds of being in the optimal. It's really tough to sift through right now, and I don't want to go too much further than Duvernay. I think Luke Wilson could be viable at 6K if you really need the salary, but I'm guessing he ends up over-owned. No public ownership as of yet. If I'm talking about fades, I don't really see anything at the MVP spot. I assume Lamar soaks up so much ownership that it's hard for anybody to be wildly over-owned at MVP. If we're talking about at the flex, I certainly think Lamar Jackson flex play is going to be over-owned. Probably Zeke over-owned as well. I think Dalton could end up a bit under-owned, but we'll see where that ends up. Gus Edwards at 12.5 though at the flex spot. That's a guy that I don't have a ton of interest in. His projection is not nearly high enough to justify that salary. Same story for Mark Ingram, 9,500, projected for 5 fantasy points. I don't think that he's going to be able to get anywhere near the volume to justify a $9,500 salary. Alrighty, folks, that will do it. Those are my Tuesday night football single game picks for Ravens and Cowboys. Thank you for joining me. Hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, and hit the notification bell so you know when everything goes live. But the biggie, follow me on Twitter at Josh Engleman. You don't want to miss these sim results. They'll be out closer to lock. I'll be on our live before lock show tonight at, I don't know, a half hour before, an hour before the game. 90 minutes before the game starts. That's when I will be live. I don't remember what time lock is off the top of my head, and there's no way that I'm stopping this video just to check. That would be insane. Look around for the link for the DraftKings version of this video if you're playing on both sites. Good luck tonight. I think this might be the last piece of content you see for 2 days. I will be dropping some Thursday morning videos, my NFL top fives. Keep your eyes peeled for that. But I'm going to be on vacation from Thursday to Sunday. So after you get the top fives, that's it for me. I'm washing my hands of this week, and I will see you guys on Monday.